now that we've got our photos, let's have a go at editing them. So I'm just going to open up the Lightroom app on here. Let's edit Edna. Okay, so I'm going to start off with the framing of this first, because I'm not happy with it. Similar to what we do when we take photos, we can change the framing in editing as well to make them look even better. And I'm going to make it so that Edna's a little bit more in the corner there. Yeah, I'm happy with that. Okay, I'm next going to go on to the exposure. And I would like this to be a little bit brighter. So let's bring this up a little bit. Okay, so now I'm going to change the contrast, which is the difference between the light and dark areas of the photo. So if you've got a low contrast image, it contains a narrow range of colours, whereas a high contrast image is like bright highlights and dark shadows. I'd quite like this to be quite high in contrast, so let's do that a bit more. I'm going to bring the shadows down for this one, because I'd quite like to make the shadowed areas, the darker areas, a bit darker. Brill. Let's have a look at the white balance. The white balance, this is us trying to match the colours that they naturally are to how we've taken photos, because when you're outside, different lights can give a different temperature. So for instance, when we were out in the snow yesterday, we might have some more bright but kind of cold photos, so we might want to warm them up a little bit. Whereas shooting indoors here, it might be that some of the tungsten light makes the colours warmer than they actually are in real life. So it's about making that balance and trying to get them as realistic as possible. Or it might be that you've been out in a cold day and you want to make everything a little bit warmer, then that's how you do it. Or if you want to create a quite moody photo, it might be that you might make the temperature a little bit colder so that it's a little bit more moody. I think I might make this photo black and white. So I'm going to do full saturation first. Now that's better. Now with a white balance, let's see what changes. Now you can see the colder temperature brings out the blacks a bit more, so I might do that. I'm going to go back to my contrast and bring the contrast in a bit more, and then I might bring the exposure down there. It's black and white. I can highly recommend, if you are going to make a photo black and white, to do the saturation first, because as you can see, it's completely changed what the photos look like, and I've had to go back and redo everything to make it look better. I like that. Save. I think let's have a look at the kettle. Oh yeah, that looks cool. Okay, so the first thing I've noticed is it's a bit wonky. So let's see if we can straighten this a bit. Oh, it's automatically done it. That's great. So I don't know if you can see that, but I'm lining up the lines here with the lines of the grid. I'm doing it on the grid there or on the kettle. Let's do it on the grid. Yeah, I'm happy with that. That looks great. That looks really good. I'm going to bring down the exposure because I want to be able to see the flames. And contrast, I'm going to bring that up as well, again, because I want to be able to see the difference in the colours of the orange flames and then the dark of the iron kettle, and also the smoke as well. It'd be great to be able to see that a bit more. I'm going to bring the contrast up a bit. With the shadows, I don't really know what that's going to do. Let's see what the shadows do with this one. I'm going to bring them down because it makes that log look a little bit darker, which I quite like. Temperature-wise, okay, white balance. I would quite like to make this a bit warmer because of the fire. Let's see. Yeah, that looks quite good. I might just see what bringing the contrast down does. Actually, I prefer that a lot more. I think it looks a bit more realistic. Yeah, I'm happy with that. I love this because I love that you've got this texture of this plant coming in that's slightly out of focus, but it really shows off the depth of field because you've got the vase right in focus, and then this in the foreground out of focus, and then the back of that table and the wall out of focus as well. So I'm going to crop it. I'm going to come in just a little bit, bearing in mind the rule of thirds. I'm going to keep it in the middle. Likewise, I'm going to bring down the exposure because I really want to see that shiny surface. Contrast I'm going to bring up because I want to be able to see the flowers as well. And I don't know if you can see the reflection in the vase. Now, I didn't notice that when I was taking pictures. I quite like the different textures on it though. I quite like the different objects and it's not too smooth. White balance. I think it deserves to be a bit warmer. Yeah, that looks great. And then saturation. See, that looked quite like that, but I wonder... No, it's really nice to see the reds in those leaves and on the vase. I think I might leave it... Oh, it's very tricky, isn't it? See, this is what's great because you get to play around. I think I'm going to leave it like that. Yeah, that's good. Let's save that. Right, let's edit this scarf because that yellow looked lovely. So the first thing I'm going to do is I'm just going to have a look at the framing a little bit. Yeah, that looks quite cool. Let's have a look at our shadows first because the shadows should bring out the light. Let's see. Yeah, I'm going to bring the shadows right down. And let's do the contrast. Yeah, that looks great. Okay, so now we can have a look at exposure. I'm going to bring it up a tiny little bit. I really like it where this part of the scarf is catching the light and this bit here. So I might bring it up a tiny little bit more. Yeah, brilliant. Let's go on to white balance. Let's see. Oh, I think I'm going to go a bit colder for this one. Yeah, slightly colder there. Because this background's pink and I quite like the idea of it being a little bit whiter. Saturation, let's bring it up. Let's bring that yellow up. See, this looks brilliant now. See, when you take out the saturation, it doesn't look as inspiring, does it? But this bold yellow colour looks brilliant. So I think I'm going to leave that there. Let's see what that looks like. Yeah, I'm really happy with that. I'm going to save that. Great, well, I'm really happy with those. I hope you're happy with yours too. Remember, keep playing around, experiment and see what kind of photos you can get. Maybe have a look at other photographers and see how they edit their photos and which elements you like and dislike. Thank you so much for watching these videos. I really hope they've been helpful and I hope you've got the tools to go out and make the best out of your phone.